Welcome to the What's Already podcast. We fashion ourselves television judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host Mattson.
Better read than dead.
And Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like, follow, subscribe button. Tell a friend about us. In fact, tell all the friends about us. Tell
at least
some enemies.
two.
Yeah, at least two. Tell some enemies about us. It's a good payback. Make them listen to us. You know, everybody. We'll let them listen. Yeah, we're live. We're here to talk about Rings of Power and House of the Dragon. As always, we'll start with Rings of Power. So, yeah, let's dive in. There's some interesting things happening.
That's one way to put it. Interesting.
Middle Earth.
It's a very very
now.
neutral way to put it.
Well, spoiler alert, Southlands are confirmed. It's now Mordor, if you weren't sure about that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mattson. I appreciate you.
Hey, I wasn't sure until it told me right on screen. I was like, okay, Mordor.
I was wondering how they were going to do that in that big reveal, and it took a really long time. I mean, what, we're 8 episodes in now?
Yeah. I mean, it was clever because they had all the location tags throughout the whole series so far. So it was clever, a way to drop it in there. And I laughed because it was like Southlands. I'm like, oh, here comes the big drop.
Yeah, so, yeah. Pretty cool. We got to see the Harfoots again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the Harfoots real quick.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have apparently the bravest hobbits, Harfoots on the planet in one little family group.
Yeah.
I am having a hard time reconciling how nobody in the Third Age seems to know about them when they are making huge waves here in the Second Age. Now, they haven't really interacted with any men or elves, but they have no problem interacting with wizards or, higher spirits.
Yeah.
I don't know about
their survival is based on nobody knowing they exist.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have no problems with it. It was more by necessity, but yeah. They're going to knock your brains out.
Nori has no problems with this. She just drags everybody else into her shenanigans.
Yeah. I'm back to thinking that as much as I don't want it to be, that it could be Gandalf or some predecessor of Gandalf of some sort. But I really don't want it to be any of the Istar because it doesn't fit within the timeline, and they promised that they wouldn't break it. So I want it to be somebody different. But that's my only thought, is that somehow these cultists or whatever they are that are following the Harfoots now, or have wrecked the Harfoots world, that they get wiped out, and the Harfoots never actually interact with anyone other than Mr. Wizard and these weird people.
Why they gotta light all their stuff on fire? Why they gotta do that?
Because they're obviously assholes.
Yeah, they're just mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Magic-wielding maniacs.
Mm-hmm. The Cult of Morgoth, maybe, or whatever. I don't know. I'm still curious to see who they turn out to be, though I didn't like the preview that Nori's eyes turned white in that preview. Not a big fan of that.
Like she was passing over into a certain world of wraiths.
Yeah, but all those wizards, their eyes are white. All those.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So,
new fan theory: Nori becomes Radagast.
With the tree thing, there's a lot of people that are saying now that they think the stranger might be Radagast. But I was like, all the wizards can technically do that kind of growth thing. That wasn't
the stranger thing's the only thing that's tiring me out a little bit, where I'm like, damn it, just like give me some more direction on who the hell this person is. I'm getting tired where they're stringing this out. I want more. I'm just getting impatient with it.
I'll kind of agree with that. They are. It feels almost like they're stretching this a little bit too much in order to get to their 5 seasons that they need, or to make back their money on their budget. And while it was cute for the first 5 or 6 episodes, now it's like, okay, need a little bit more other than just mindless storytelling. However, they are doing a very good job of keeping me on the hook with the way they end episodes and me wanting to come back for the next.
I mean, it's really my only complaint. Other than that, I'm thoroughly enjoying everything. So I'm just gonna put some faith in the process. But god damn it, can you just put the name of the person on their chest? That'd be fine with me.
I think they just brought him in too early. And maybe the payoff will be worth it. But I think if they had held off, because we had the Harfoots in the first episode and then they were in again in the second, he pops in so early that now we have to follow along and wonder who he is. Where maybe you could have just put the Harfoots in one episode to introduce them, and then we don't see them again until like 3 or 4, right? And then introduce them back, reintroduce them and bring him in, and then maybe that kind of like, okay, we have so many reveals going on that now I'm tired of waiting on that one. And the only one that's gonna be worth it is if they break the timeline, or if it's Gandalf or one of the other Ishtar, or it's just I don't know. I'm with you though. I'm ready to know who that is,
or at
but
least this person speak words instead of just making noises. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm still thinking Man in the Moon, though I could be convinced with where they're headed, and it looks like they're close enough to the south that I could be okay with Bombadil. Like, I still think Bombadil would be the coolest. Like, that would be cool shit if it was Tom Bombadil.
We got to see Tom Bombadil. That would be awesome.
Because Bombadil was never good, evil, and he was just kind of there, So it was like, I'd be okay with him. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And nobody knows where he came from. He was just there. That'd be an interesting reveal.
Yeah, very unexpected. I could get behind that.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I am enjoying by itself Galadriel's arc. And I mean by herself if you isolate everything around her and just look at her specifically.
Sure.
Because we can kind of see the transition from warrior to the Lady Elorian that we get in the Third Age.
Yeah.
So if we just look at her in our own little vacuum bubble, I'm enjoying that. Once you put everything else that's happening around her, it's the worst.
Yeah. A little.
I mean, how are we going to introduce Celeborn as being MIA when Celeborn and Galadriel were the power couple of the Second Age?
Yeah, well, and in this show they implied that he's dead.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Very, very much not.
Yeah, I mean,
they did everything together.
Yeah, well, not only that, but if he isn't alive, how does Elrond get married?
Oh, I saw a TikTok theory on this, and I'm going to ruin your entire day.
Ready for this?
Oh, no.
So there is some speculation. I don't remember whose TikTok it was. I just kind of scrolled past it once they gave their story, and we'll never go back. Was talking that Halbrand is actually Sauron.
Okay.
He's going to impregnate Galadriel, and they're going to wipe away canon as now Galadriel's daughter, who marries Elrond, is going to be Sauron's kid. And now Aragorn's descendants will have the blood of Sauron.
You can't make Celebrian freaking whatever.
Oh, they could. They would.
Go away.
That hurt my brain.
I will revolt and never watch this show.
Absolutely. But is it that far off the mark? Is it something that Amazon wouldn't do?
I don't think Tolkien's estate would allow them. And that's why Amazon has this show, is because Netflix offered the same exact amount of money to the estate for the rights as Amazon. What changed it was Amazon said, you can have control. You can have some creative control and and allow us you get rights to decisions being made on this show on top of $250,000 just to own the rights. That's the difference as to why I don't think Tolkien's estate would allow that kind of blasphemous bullshit to get made in a show like
You would
this.
hope, but it's not run by a Tolkien anymore, is it? I don't.
I'm pretty sure Christopher still runs it.
Didn't he die?
Chris? No.
I thought he was.
Sounds like JJ and Chris are friends. Chris, like I'm talking today.
Hey man, I mean, I've kind of hangs out in my freaking dreams. Oh yeah, he did pass away in 2020.
Yeah, he was a victim of 2020.
That's my bad. I mean, the guy was older than dirt, so it's not surprising.
Yeah.
But
absolutely. I'm saying blasphemy may not be so far off.
No way.
I hope it's not, right? But the way that it's going, getting Halbrand Elvish medicine, they go off together. They've traveled together. I'm saying I also wouldn't be surprised if Amazon Prime committed blasphemy because they did it to the Wheel of Time series.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. So Christopher's wife, Bailey Tolkien, and his nephew, Michael Tolkien, are the heads of the estate. So I think they're connected enough that
Dude,
I would
sign
hope
me,
so.
sign me up for that
safe.
job. Hey, you're a great granddad, did all this cool stuff, and you can make money because of him. Just don't F it up.
Oh yeah, dude. That's how wealthy people stay wealthy. That's how their kids stay wealthy.
Generational wealth.
Sign me up for that.
We got our dear friend has joined the show.
Oh man.
Hi, Charles. I'm working on it. He's asked if one of JJ will be a wizard next week. Can we suggest the name? I'm interested to hear the name. You can suggest. I can make no guarantees whether.
I'll guarantee it, Charles. Whatever you want, I'll make him do it.
I'm not talking to Charles and I are not on speaking terms right now.
You made some enemies, my friend, with a certain Pink Bird movie.
Ugh.
Which I found, Charles, by the way. So
yes, he did.
What's our verdict? 2, Charles 0. That's right. A couple of us were. Oh my god, I love it. Okay, I can get behind that though. The Great Wizard Kahuna. I'm down. I'm down.
Excellent.
Yep. That's funny. God, the finale is next week. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll be salty if they mess with that whole thing because that family tree's hard to. I mean, they all have their important pieces, right? Like, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a
sacred family tree.
Yeah.
But also, I wouldn't put it past creative writers to go in and say, you know what would be cool is the one person in this family tree we can kind of get rid of is Celeborn.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, well, and don't get me wrong, most of his story and backstory are in the Silmarillion and the unfinished tales. So, yeah, that's a tough one because they don't have a lot of rights to him in general outside of some creative license. But I don't know. I'm holding on to the fact that apparently somewhere they've made up that they got separated during the war and they'll find each other again. It's just not Lorien without Celeborn. I mean, that's their whole thing, right? It's like,
yeah. So, I mean, or they're gonna turn Celeborn into a dark elf that Galadriel has to save and redeem.
Yeah.
I will say though, Isildur dead.
Yeah, what the heck is this whole he's dead thing?
Is really not the gotcha I think they think it is.
Yeah. It's true. Somebody needs to send them an email and be like, hey, we know how that story ends. And that's
like he's not dead. So where'd he go? He's like taking a long crap or something?
Well, and I mean, they kind of played that way too because the horse, like,
Yeah.
they set that horse not being willing to leave because the dude's still there. So I don't know. And I'm like sitting there thinking with Elendil, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? You told him the story, like, and you're all busted up about it. So get on your damn horse and go back. I was like,
Yeah, he's all butt hurt, doesn't want to come
Yeah.
back. I'm like, there, you pussy.
That's why I was sitting there. I actually was sitting there going, and I was like I said, I was a little hopped up because of my kidney stones, but I was like, you little bitch. I was like, you're supposed to be the greatest king men ever knew. Like, what the shit are you doing, dude? Like, quit being a baby and go get your kid. Like, God.
It's really kind of a cheap trope.
Yeah. Well, and then like the whole bitching at his queen and talking about like, I'm done with Galadriel and the elves, and no, you're not, dude. Like you're changing his baseline. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
I was a little
and
salty
there's
about some weird choices.
there's no payoff for that because, I mean, Isildur and Elendil, Elendil, I think his name means friend of elf, is exactly how his name is translated to.
Yeah, it literally means elf friend.
So it's I mean, they're trying to go for this dramatic kind of, hasty making decision,
Sure.
but you don't need it because you don't need to make Isildur look like he's dead.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that they'll get back to Numenor and he'll be like, no, I don't want to go back or whatever. And then that'll start the whole argument of going back and not going back and partially how Numenor ends up being destroyed. But at the same time, it's like, first of all, Isildur was there. Like, he goes with Elendil when they leave. So there's some weird changes that they're making that I'm like, why is that necessary? Like,
Yeah, the only thing that I could think of was like in the lore, in the canon, Elendil is the one who lands in the north and he starts Arnor.
oh, that's
and
fair.
Isildur and his brother land in the south and they start Gondor.
That's fair.
But it's like, you don't need to create this added drama underlying story if that's your end goal, is to put them in their respective regions.
Yeah.
When you could just come up with a much better, in my opinion, story to get it there.
Sure. That's fair.
What about the whole Durin arc with his dad just, is he no longer a prince or whatever, however that works?
Durin the Fourth had some brothers. Pretty sure he had a lot of brothers.
Yeah. It was more like he was no longer the heir.
Yeah. I don't know that he was ever high on the line of ascension early on anyway, was he? Or am I wrong about that? I didn't think he was Durin III's firstborn.
I do not know. He might have been. I do know that he was pretty active with Eregion, so he's some sort of diplomat type of dwarf, which we get to see, which usually isn't what you save your oldest son for. So possibly.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, something's got to happen because Mithril's a thing, and it goes down. It's just
they're taking a really long time to get around to mining this stuff.
Yeah.
Spring is just around the corner. Tick tock, tick tock.
Well, and I'm excuse me, I'm also wondering, like, it's interesting to me that we saw the Doran's Bane already. Like,
he's not supposed to be awake for a couple more Dwarven Kings.
Yeah, we got him a little early. So, and like I said, I get that they're doing the truncated timeline, but
wait, we're talking about the beast thing. What are those called again?
Balrog.
Yeah.
Balrog.
So, how did that thing awake?
During the third, dropped a leaf on its forearm.
Yeah.
The
little corrupted, reanimated leaf.
Oh, it fell.
He threw it during 3. Threw it in a hole.
And it touched that and awoke. Well, that's not good. So it's speeding that process up.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. 2 Dwarven Kings a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did like though how they played off, where they showed that reanimation of the leaf being close to Mithril, getting rid of the disease. That was cool, and making kind of that Durin's choice to go against his father's wishes, and his yelling Elrond afterwards cracked me up. They continue to be my favorite part of this show, hands down.
For sure. Well, and don't get me started on his badass wife, Disa.
Dude, she's straight up rebel. I love it.
She no joke, dude. Like, your dad's a dipshit. And I love that his thing was like, no, I always rail on your mom. That's my bad. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I get him. I just love that. I was like, damn, we're seeing some infighting, but yeah.
It plays well, is the thing. It plays exceptionally well when you compare it to every other storyline they have going on.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to, I think, the actors that they chose for those roles.
For sure.
Showing
the
up
Durin
and
stuff is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's the best part of the show, hands down. And it's kind of annoying because it's such a small part of the show.
Yeah. Well, and I don't understand. Like, I get why they're doing it to a degree, especially the whole Mithril elf issue. But I don't like Khazad-dûm, and it was never a huge part of Middle Earth until the Fellowship of the Ring. Like, it was so small of a realm of possible that even like when you get into the Fellowship of the Ring, they went there thinking that Balin was still going to be alive and kicking and rebuilding Khazad-dûm. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to me that they're going there like it's a very huge place of import, when at the time it really, outside of Durin 4 being part of this timeline because of Celebrimbor and everything else that's going on, like, it's never been, it's just one of those kingdoms that everybody talks about, not that it was very heavily involved in what was going on at the time.
It's New Jersey, not New York.
That's a great way to put. Yep, it's right next to a Region, but
on the wrong side of the water, or the Watcher in the water, or whatever it is.
Exactly, a little too deep in the mountain for most people. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, I think, how, but I think it's because we all want to see the elves, right? Like, or the dwarves, like.
And that's really the best dwarf kingdom to line up with everything else.
Sure. Because at the time it was it was the kingdom, right?
And
like,
centrally located.
Sure. And I mean, even when you think about dwarves, like even Gimli, like they're Durin's folk, right? Like, it's like, we're not talking about, that's their chief namesake in dwarven history is Durin. Well, the Durins, how about that? But it's, I don't know. I'm glad that they have it because it's funny as balls. Like, that whole part is great.
Absolutely. It's what I enjoy about this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a little unsure about that Balrog. Is it just a hook to get us to next week and
sure
through the season finale, and then we're going to see some sort of time jump where it would make sense for the Balrog to wake up fully? Is he going to go back to sleep? Once he assesses that there's really no immediate individuals coming after him.
He just had to go to the bathroom.
Just had to wake up and this hibernation.
Yeah, well, and it's not even like they're dragons or anything. It's not even like they're like hoarding the mithril and being like, "No, I'm good. Nobody's messing with my mithril, so I'll just go back to sleep." Like, these are just creatures of destruction. It's, you know what I mean? Like, they're
and this one's hiding.
Yeah. I mean, I get taking a nap because that's what most of them did after but I don't know. I was surprised that they showed, like, I'd have been okay if they had shown it, the leaf land on it and it was just sleeping and it stayed asleep. But as soon as it woke up, I was like, no, it's Durin 5 that does that. And Durin 4 is not even in charge yet. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's a bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah. So anyway.
But overall, I'm excited for the season finale.
Sure, me too. Hopefully we get a few answers, and
I'm gonna need some answers though. When do they know when season 2 is coming out, or if they even greenlit it?
oh no, it's been greenlit for 5 seasons.
Okay.
They're gonna do. They bought it with the intention of doing 5 seasons, and unless it completely tanks, which it's not doing, I can't imagine that we won't get our 5 seasons. But I'm sure it'll take a while. I don't think that they're doing any kind of like rapid
Filming. Or production.
Yeah.
Well, that's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not good enough to wait 2 years for season 2.
The head of Amazon Studios, Jennifer Salke, said they want the shortest time possible between seasons, but we want to keep the bar just as high. So it'll take what it takes. But there's some urgency around moving quickly, which is why these guys have been writing all through their hiatus. We're moving fast. So it doesn't sound like there's a month or years set, but my guess is they're probably going to target maybe end of 2023, early 2024 would be my guess.
I was gonna say, if they've been writing all through the break, let's say they finish writing, they start filming early next year, you're at best late next year when it releases.
Okay.
That's if they start production by the end of this year or the very beginning of next year. I don't know if they're technically in pre-production at this point or not, but yeah, if you start filming at in the first quarter, you can usually get it released by the end of the year. So we'll see.
All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to bring up?
Not really. That was about it for me.
Ooh, although I feel like instead of a wizard, JJ should be a dwarf. I feel like that's more of his people.
If I had some time, if I'd have known, I'd have let it grow. But
I did think of something. We finally know where the Southlanders are going. Pelagia. So that's cool because that has ties to Umbar and the Corsairs from there. Yeah. And it's one of those Numenorian colonies that we talked about previously. And maybe these guys are going to be soaked up by Numenor, or they could become the future Umbarians.
I was going to say, it's an interesting take on the Corsairs and some of those not so nice men that fall in. I mean, and most of the South didn't do well when it came to which team they chose.
Not even close.
But I mean, I can imagine that living on the outskirts of Mordor, you're like, we're going to be team Mordor. Yeah. Nazgul flying around and shit. Like, I'm probably hanging out with them too.
Oh, hands down. I will have no compunctions about who I hang out with and who I invite to the barbecue.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, well, there it is. I'm torn. Who do I give these responsibilities to all of a sudden? Your responsibilities were filled in quite nicely, Mattson. I don't know if you've listened or not, but
no,
this dude went full pro on you, man.
No, I have not listened. I'd love to hear it again.
Well, we'll give it
for the first time.
We'll let him do it right here. So,
yeah,
Alec, tell them everybody where they can find us.
All right. Thank you. So once again for turning into our live show for Rings of Power. We will be back next Monday once again at 5 p.m.
Pacific.
If you would like to join us and chime in as we give our verdict, we released the first Christmas movie of the season earlier today, being Gremlins, which is available where all fine podcasts can be found. Go check it out. Great movie and a great recording. We're also currently going live for Andor Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh, that's my bad.
And would love to see you guys there for that show as well. Special shout out to JJ Screaming Goats, our wonderful patron. If you guys like who we are and what we do and are interested in supporting us more directly, you can find us on Patreon, where you can unlock the ability to influence the content we release. And every dollar received from Patreon goes towards Spain and neutering Mattson. So it's for a good cause. We appreciate you guys taking the time to stop by and let us know in the comments if you approve of our verdict.
We love it. Hey, we have a returning.
Shantez is back.
Shantez is back.
Shantez, we're about to jump into Rings of Power, so good timing.
Yep.
Not Rings of Power. Sorry. House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. Thanks, Alex. Sorry I failed you on the Pacific time there.
That's okay, JJ. You only had one job. That's whatever.
I know. And I'm still a little whacked out right now. Kidney stones are no joke. That's what I'm going to blame it on anyway. With that, if you're watching live, hang out with us. We're going to talk in a minute, but we will have a break. So you'll see our little intro again just for filming purposes. So hang out, though. We're going to talk about House of the Dragon. But as always, we appreciate you tuning in. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinematic out.
Whoa!